a charismatic leader, a doomsday prophecy, and one of the most chilling murder sprees in American history. This is the twisted story of Charles Manson, the man who turned peace-loving hippies into ruthless killers, all in the name of Helter Skelter. Born in 1934 to a teenage mother who wanted nothing to do with him, Manson spent most of his youth in reform schools, detention centers, and eventually prison. By the time he was released in 1967, he had spent more than half his life behind bars. But prison had taught him something valuable: how to manipulate people. With no real skills and nowhere to go, Manson drifted into the hippie movement of the late 1960s. But he wasn't just another flower child, he was a master manipulator. He preached free love, anti-establishment ideas, and an apocalyptic vision he called Helter Skelter. And in a matter of months, he had gathered a following. Dozens of young men and women ready to do anything he asked. Charles Manson wasn't just a cult leader, he was a failed musician obsessed with the Beatles. He believed their song Helter Skelter was a message predicting a coming race war. In Manson's mind, this war would end with him and his followers ruling the world. But first, they had to start the chaos themselves. To speed up the apocalypse, Manson ordered his followers to commit brutal murders, crimes so shocking that they would send the world into a frenzy. And so, the killing began. On the night of August 8, 1969, Manson's followers, Tex Watson, Susan Atkins, Patricia Krenwinkel, and Linda Kasabian, drove to a secluded home in the Hollywood Hills. Inside was actress Sharon Tate, 8 months pregnant, along with her friends. What happened next was pure horror. Manson's followers broke in, tied up the victims, and began a merciless slaughter. Sharon Tate, pleading for the life of her unborn child, was stabbed 16 times. One victim tried to escape, shot down on the lawn. Before leaving, the killers wrote P.I.G. in Sharon Tate's blood on the front door. The next night, the killing spree continued. Leno and Rosemary LaBianca were found brutally murdered in their home. Words like rise and death to pigs carved into their flesh and walls. The world was officially in a state of terror. But Manson's plan backfired. Instead of sparking a war, the murders led to his downfall. His followers were sloppy, bragging about their crimes. Soon, police had enough evidence to arrest the entire Manson family. But the real horror: Manson never actually killed anyone himself. Yet, in court, his hold over his followers was clear. At the trial, his followers sat in the courtroom, carving X's into their foreheads, in solidarity with their leader. They sang Manson songs. They defended him. But in the end, justice prevailed. In 1971, Charles Manson was sentenced to death, later reduced to life in prison. He would never walk free again. Charles Manson spent the rest of his life behind bars. He died in 2017, but his dark legacy lives on. The murders he orchestrated remain some of the most infamous crimes in history. And the question lingers: how did one man convince so many to kill? Was he a prophet of chaos, or just a psychopath with a guitar and a god complex? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more deep dives into the darkest corners of true crime, don't forget to subscribe to Only True Crime.